Some of you may know that I was a GP in Bridgwater for many years. I am now non-exec chair of SPH, and you may also recognise me because I was also on the LMC when I didn't need glasses to read what I've prepared. They might fall off because they're a bit wonky, okay, which will provide some laughter and amusement for you. Okay, you've had a bit of history and you've had a bit of advert. You may feel that what I'm about to say is also an advert for SPH, but I make no apologies for that. But I will give you a bit of history because when people mention SPH, you get two reactions: oh, them, or who. So to recap. SPH was born out of the NHS culture that developed some years ago of any willing provider, which meant that practices got into competition with other providers. So, as a result of that, in order to protect primary care interests, every single practice across Somerset became a shareholder of a private company that is SPH. This is still the case today, and that's quite important for you to remember for later, because every single one of your practices has an investment in this company. The landscape of the NHS changed, and some developments stalled, other initiatives came in, and this and the fact that the surviving members of the original SPH board were aware of the negative reputation that we had. I'm being quite honest here. We decided to begin a transformation about 18 months ago to make the company more relevant to the service of primary care today within the current environment. So what have we actually achieved in that time, in the last 18 months? Well, we've recruited new membership to the board, and that means we're truly representative of the whole of Somerset. We have backed this up with developing some of the processes that make us fit for purpose as our responsibilities increase. Anyway, that's enough of the management speak, okay? What you really want to know is, what has SPH done for us? So, in the last year, we have secured £88,410 worth of contracts. This means that through these contracts, every practice has recouped their original investment in SPH. In specific terms, how does that make a difference to me, my GP, me as a practice manager? Well, just a couple of examples, small examples. Through the MMR catch-up initiative, we have assisted practices by composing the letters, writing and running the searches to make it easier for you to fulfil the contract. Through 3 diabetes projects, we have helped practices and the CCG improve the self-care of affected patients, which in the long term should help reduce your workload and will improve the health of patients. The National Digital Diabetes Prevention Programme filled all the places allocated to Somerset, and Somerset also had the highest uptake and retention rate, which is quite a success. These are just a couple of examples of how SPH can help oversee county-wide projects that help practices secure contracts that would be otherwise difficult for you to do as an individual practice. Basically, what we can do is I really don't think that's worth the hassle because of the work involved and everything we have to do to get that. But because we work at a county level, we can make it doable for you. It may seem that at the moment these projects are really not very much money. However, I would ask you to reflect on how much you already do that's not in your contract, that you're not paid for at all. In addition, there is what I've mentioned already, that a lot of these services can help improve patient care, which I know long time in the future can help with your workload. The additional bonus to these small successes is that the organisations that commission these projects see our success, and they are now approaching us to help assist them. Michael has mentioned one of the biggest achievements over the last 18 months, which is the GP Plus project, which has received nationwide approval and attention. And that's now being extended specifically to support those GPs aged 50 plus, which is important given the statistics we've already heard today. And I will mention the DPO role. I know this role has had its teething problems. I have to say these were due to external problems, not of our making. And to be honest, many large organisations are having difficulties in coming to terms with the DPO. But SPH has employed Romy Stanton, who's over there somewhere, to provide a more streamlined response to your queries, so we hope you see that service improve. Importantly, we've managed to do this at a price below many competitors, and that's because you have all supported us across the county. And this is the sort of thing we want to do in the future with you. And so to the future. About 18 months ago, when we changed ourselves, where we were looking at other collaborations to help practices and help practice resilience. To this end, we're in discussions with Devon Docks around the services they provide and how that might help you. And in addition, you've heard from Michael about transformation. I need to emphasise there is actually transformation money that the CCG is providing for many of the initiatives that Michael talked about. The CCG decided that this money, rather than go to individual practice, could be more effective spent across the county, and has consulted widely with the Somerset GP board, of whom SPH are a member. And so a lot of the initiatives that have come up have been discussed amongst the board and are supported by the board. We are custodians for some of the money, or we hope to be custodians for some of the money delegated to the board. And as well as helping to construct the initial plans, we want to help the board help practices transform in a way that you really want to, without excessive interference from the CCG, and doing things that you can see would make have most effect in your neighbourhoods. It looks very likely that there will be a real shift of resources of all sorts from secondary care to primary care. And the role of SPH with the board will be to coordinate some of those changes and resources. We hope this will also give us the opportunity to develop further and employ staff to help our work. I will emphasise again, we are a company in whom you are all shareholders. Some of you may not have liked what we're doing, where we're going, what we've done. As I say, I've tried to emphasise that we've changed. And a lot of us work as full-time GPs or practice managers in our own time for SPH. So we do need extra bodies. And if you would like to, if you don't like what we're doing but you want to change it, then you come on the board. If you do like what we're doing and you want to support it, then come on the board. As I said, it would partly be an advert. GPs and practice managers are needed, and we would also like to have your support that when we do projects across county level, that you can support us to help achieve more of what we're already doing, particularly in relation to the transformation monies, so that we can actually help practices be more resilient, help their patients, and actually survive in the future, as we have in the past throughout all the changes. This is just another challenge. Thank you.